All right, welcome everybody. We have 5 o'clock here, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Melissa B, and we will see what we have going on today. Oh, there we go. All right, so we had some heavy bands of what you might have heard of thunder, snow, or sleet hitting your windows and making those rumbles overnight, and they made the roads a little bit slick this morning. And we do have still some of that going on right now, looking at radar. But we should see a break today in the precipitation for the most part, which will be very helpful. And then more snow will come again overnight into Tuesday morning. And then our main heavy round of snow that we're expecting will be Tuesday night through Wednesday. So what are the impacts that we're expecting out of this? The snow amounts have increased since we've talked to you yesterday and last night. And so we're seeing a little bit more of an elevated concern out of the snow amounts. Icing has, the thought has come down a little bit on the amounts there, except for in the southeast. And so that threat will probably be limited. Not really seeing too much in the way of winds with this system, so we're not really expecting blowing snow to be an issue. However, at times the snow could come down heavy, and that will reduce visibilities. Travel, we've already seen become an issue with just a little bit of sleet and snow pellets that we saw overnight in the last few hours. And so travel will definitely have some effects on it as roads become slick and start to become a little bit more packed. And then for the most part, we're not really going to, if we stay towards the snow aspects of things, we're not really going to be looking for power outages. However, folks more towards the southeast where freezing rain or freezing drizzle may become more likely with the trees having all their limbs on them and all their leaves, that may become more of an effect for power outages if it can bring down things down in the southeast. Before I move on for a second, forecast confidence wise, so we're pretty sure that there's going to be effects out of this storm system over the next several days. Limiting factors of what our confidence may waver on is the track of the low. We're still placing the low right now over Utah, so it's still got a little bit of time to come down and come across us. So exact track of that is still a little bit uncertain, and that will change just how much warm air can come into the area, which will change the possibility of precip types for us, because just a couple degrees can change whether or not we're seeing the snow that we're expecting or icing, or even by Wednesday when we get to that heavier snow that we're talking about, could become just rain. So that's where our confidence is going to be a little bit of a challenge. As I just mentioned earlier, the storm total snows have increased, and here's what we're looking at. The graphic on your left is our current accumulation forecast with heavier totals on the caprock and less totals off the caprock. That is what we are more confident in, is that if we are going to see the snow totals, they will be higher on the caprock. You can tell in our high-end graphic, storm total snow could become pretty significant, 14 inches for Amarillo. We're not so sure that that's going to happen. There are some models out there that are suggesting that it could be higher, but we do feel that the 8 inches that we're currently forecasting for Amarillo is probably your better bet than going towards the 14. We're not very confident in that high-end worst-case scenario threat. As far as the low end, not seeing anything, that also seems fairly unlikely for this whole scenario, that we would get down to nothing. But there is this wide range because the temperatures vary so greatly in just a couple degrees, making all the difference. As far as the ice goes, as you can tell, we have decreased the ice amounts and locations to mostly off the caprock, and the heavier storm total icing will be towards the far southeast, towards Wellington, Wheeler, and just east of there going into Oklahoma. where most areas will see probably under 1/10 of an inch of icing. And then down there in that area, it could be maybe up to 2/10 of an inch of ice or so. But even a glaze can cause slick roads. And for the most part, this is a storm accumulation over the next several days. And for the most part, the areas that we'll see some of that will just be getting like 100th or 200ths every 6 hours or so. So it's not just all going to come down at once. As far as how the snow is going to play out for us, like I said, there's going to be a break today, which is going to be great for us. And so on the left, you can see what the storm total snow looks like for today during the day between 7 o'clock this morning until this evening about 7 o'clock. And most of the areas you can tell right there is going to be less than an inch. Up in the northwest, they could see more of another inch today. And then when we go into tonight, the next round of precip starts coming back, and aerials will see another inch, maybe 2. And then there could be some isolated spots closer to the 3 inches overnight. This snow will continue into Tuesday morning for the Tuesday morning commutes, particularly across the southwest for another inch. But by about noon or so tomorrow, we expect that to shut off and catch another break before snow would start coming back Tuesday evening for the overnight hours. And that's when our big round will start coming back in, is Tuesday overnight into Wednesday. And here are the snow totals for Wednesday during the daytime, and then easing off and ending by Wednesday overnight. Like I said, Wednesday, these snow totals for the daytime could become more rain if we do get some warmer temperatures that we're seeing in some of the models. As far as temperatures go, here's a look at those. We are watching for basically staying under freezing, below freezing, through Monday, through Tuesday for the most part. And then Wednesday is when we could catch the break. Right now, we're thinking that there's a possibility of getting above freezing, but this is a very uncertain forecast for those Wednesday's highs. That's where our uncertainty lies probably the most, is with these numbers right there. If we can get those 36, 38, 39s, we could flip all this over to rain, but the confidence is pretty low on it. And then by Thursday, we do expect to come back up into the 40s and really start melting all this off. So again, let's just recap. We had some bands of thunder snow and sleet overnight, making the roads a little bit slick for this morning. We should see a break today in the precip, which should help. And then there will be more snow overnight through Tuesday in the late morning hours, and then catch another little break. And then our main round of precip that we're expecting should happen Tuesday night into Wednesday. Our next webinar will be tomorrow at 5 a.m. And thank you very much for listening in, and take any questions.